Hey, what's up, travelers? So, let me click on there. Okay. So, yeah, I wanted to make this little video today about the actual meaning of the planetary glyphs. And, I mean, I'm gonna expand on, like, different things. Some of y'all might actually have, like, studied that and might try to school me in the comments, like, no, this is actually the real meaning. Well, in my sphere of experience, there is no such thing as a real or false meaning. If it resonates with you, and if you're able to manifest from it, if it helps you, it is true. So what I'm going to be dealing with today is my own intuitive way of analyzing the planetary glyphs. I got Jupiter in the 5th house, square Saturn in the 9th, and my Jupiter is in Sag, and my my Saturn in Pisces. So, you know, I got these interesting polarities, and I think I can create something that makes sense with this psychic structure of things. Anyways, so, this is that. I'm gonna go through every planetary glyph, and I might do another video just for, like, the zodiac signs symbols, but this is the planetary glyphs. So, starting with the sun, right? And I mean, why is it important to know what they mean? Because if you're just using symbols and they don't really evoke or invoke something within you as you're really drawing them, they won't hold as much strength. They'll only hold the power that those who taught you what they meant actually meant, you know? So I'm gonna try to help you kind of like formulate a little bit about what it could mean. Okay, so one thing that I found interesting about the sun is the actual etymology of the word radius. And a lot of like the actual words in English are linked to the solar worship. In modern English, at least, that is. I don't know about the old... Who can read like the oldest forms of English? Like, it's really weird. Anyway, so radius. In it you got Re or Ra, and Zeus, which is the stem for God, I guess, in many languages. I think in Latin, Zeus means God. In French, Dieu, it's God. In Spanish, I think it's Dios, or something like that, you know. So Zeus is really like this root for the actual word God. And Ra is a solar god. And when we're dealing with the symbol of the sun like that, you got a dot in the middle of a sphere, of a circle. And what this circle means for me, just generally, in any planetary glyph, it's a sphere of experience. It denotes the kind of experience that the symbol represents. So here we're dealing with the sun. So it's the sphere, it's like the point around which our sphere of experience revolves. You could see it as like a sun with an orbit around, but if you're seeing it astrologically, it's really the center of our focus, or the center of how we play out of our energy, of our sphere of experience. It is centered around the sun. So this is how I see the sun. Now, I'll go to this one a bit later. So this is Mercury, right? And we got, again, the sphere, which is the sphere of experience to me. But what's the sphere of experience to of Mercury to me? So you got the cross, which represents matter for many philosophies, you know, and many systems of beliefs, if you want, think that a cross represents the body or the matter. I just see it as the matter or the earth element, kind of, if you want, or like the tangibility of things, and the actual thing that looks like a parenthesis. I don't know if there's an actual word for that thing. Is there? Please school me if there is. But to me, Mercury represents the sphere of experience, linking up the mind, which is the little parenthesis for me, and matter. So Mercury is all about relating what's in the mind and what's in the matter, so you can communicate, unify the ideas and share them with people. The moon would be more the mind, how we feel about stuff, how we first get to feel the information, and then Mercury kicks in and we're trying to rationalize it, you know, or we're trying to link up ideas together so that we could share them. So you got Venus. So there, what's the sphere of experience of Venus? Excuse me. The sphere of experience of Venus is linking the sphere of experience to matter. So it's how we relate to the matter of things. Whether we like them, whether we dislike something, that's dealing mainly with Venus. What pleases us, you know, how we kind of like merge our experience with matter. So you got Venus. And at the same time, since this sphere is above matter, I feel it could attract an experience through matter because it brings it up. Or it could actually be matter attracting a certain sphere of experience, I guess. So that's all the magnetic or yin principle of Venus to me. This is the Earth. A lot of astrologers don't even know this symbol, but this is the symbol for the Earth. And the astrology that I kind of kick, or that I'm trying to like include because I feel it makes sense, the Earth rules Taurus. Venus co-rules Taurus, and Venus is the ruler of Libra. Just like Taurus is opposite to Scorpio, which has got 2 rulers, and Aries is opposite to Libra, which only got 1 ruler, I think it would make sense for the Earth to rule Venus and to be co-ruled by, to rule Venus, but to be ruled also by the Earth. Venus kind of like, anyway, it's not really a video about that, but Venus kind of like beautifies the Earth element, you know, and they're all about the senses. And here we got the sphere of experience, which is intimately linked to the matter of things. So it's really like the Earth in a sense, you know, it's the sphere of experience being centered by matter. If you were looking on the map also, it's an X. So it's like you are there, you know, so that's Earth for me. So you got the moon. So the moon for me is the mind. Not really in how we formulate the ideas, but in what's really inside. You could see it as a facet of the soul, but to me it's really how we process information. What our conditioning has got us to feel about different things, you know? Because the moon and Saturn, they kind of rule time in our solar system in a way that like the moon deals with the months, the moons, and Saturn deals with like adulthood, you know, and being a grandparent and being a great grandparent. And in it, you got the 2 little parentheses. I know it's an actual moon, you know, like I could see the image, and I guess also that they don't show a full moon because it would be kind of hard to decipher what it is if it was only a circle. Plus, it doesn't deserve to be just a circle in itself. But to me, it represents, you know, it's like there are 2 parentheses. So it's like the duality of the mind, how we relate with what we get to feel and perceive. So with that said, if we're going to the black moon, it's black, so we can't really see it, and it's linking to matter. So it's dealing with the unseen aspect of the mind and how it relates to the matter of things, you know. Anyways, so here you got Mars. So Mars is the sphere of experience, this energy kinda that is projected outwards. It represents, you know, swords, arrows, anything phallic. But to me, it's really like, whereas Venus kind of like was this antenna bringing stuff from the matter that was down up to the sphere of experience, Mars is all about taking the energy and projecting it outwards, you know. So this is what it means for me. So if I'm drawing Mars, doing some ritual or something, I go a lot of time around the circle, I focus my energy, then all without raising my pen or whatever, I draw the, you know, so it really embodies the energy being projected forward from the sphere of experience. Now you're dealing with Jupiter. So Jupiter got this little parenthesis. Some people would even say that this is the moon rising above the cross of matter. So it's about making the mind rise above what matter is. But to me, it's more about the mind and matter being put on equal stance to kind of, and I think Earth co-rules Sagittarius. This is kind of weird, I know, but I think Earth co-rules Sagittarius, with Jupiter being the principal ruler, and for Taurus, the principal ruler is Earth, and it's co-ruled by Venus. But there, you got the little parenthesis of the mind being kind of like on an equal footing with matter. So it deals with kind of like beliefs, you know. You think what's in your mind, you think your beliefs are what's happening in the world. So it brings a certain sense of optimism. But at the same time, it could be being kind of naive about stuff and not foreseeing the obstacles and stuff, you know. So that's Jupiter for me. And also you could say that it's a 4, so there's the numerology of 4. So it's kind of like a structure, you know, but it's the structure, because 4 for me represents a structure, you know, just like a chair, but I'm basing myself mainly like on tarot there. But like 4, you know, a chair has 4 legs. When you got 4, you're able to have like a stable structure. So it deals with the structure of the mind and matter together. So the belief system, and that's also linking to how I see the Earth co-ruling Sagittarius. Because, you know, Sagittarius are, yes, a lot fiery, a lot about like going with the feeling, but they like to follow a certain earthly path. Or they're not as, they can be really creative, but they're kind of conservative. When they know that a path has been perfected, they'll practice this martial art. They'll practice this philosophy. They'll try to see how their fire relates to the earth aspect, you know. So that's how the main ruler is Jupiter and the co-ruler is Taurus. But I know some astrologers are like, nah. Anyways, I don't really care about that. Saturn. Now, Saturn has this little thing, which, I mean, a lot of people study Saturn a lot and worship Saturn, and like, respect to you guys, like I don't really care what you do, but this is my own understanding. So in it, you see like this, you see my mouse? Yeah, you see this little thing here? To me that kind of looks like Leo, right? But Leo is more like this little lion's tail almost. You know, it's like a dot, like a circle, or like a sperm almost, and it represents creation. That's interesting. I just thought of that. So that's like a circle, Leo, and a little tail. But Saturn, it's like this tail undone, linked to the cross of matter. So it kind of matches also with the belief or the mythology or religions that say that Saturn was an old god, or Saturn was an old star, but that it's dead now. So it's like the actual Leo symbol, which is Leo is ruled by the sun. Excuse me, I'm a bit sick. I'm starting to feel more healthy now. But talking about Saturn is making me cold a little bit. Which, you know, Leo got this little tail and thing, and it's in place. But Saturn's like this tail is undone, and it's linked to the cross of matter. But mainly what I think it represents, the black thingy here, which I would like to know if there's a name for that. This is a root. So this is what's rooting matter down to the ground. It's gravity. It's what's bringing the structures down into reality, down for us to experience in a dense vibration, you know. So it's why it's blockages, because it's like, no, this is how matter is, and you won't change it as easily. But really, if we're thinking about it, all this matrix is like a consensus of every being living on it. Perhaps if we all believed something else, if we all start really believing from our core without a single doubt that we could fly or that we could walk through walls, perhaps we could. But since there is so much energy that condensed this matrix, that condensed this plane in the way it is, we have to kind of go by the rules of it, you know. That's why the more your energy is powerful, the more you get to do miracles. You get to split the seas, or you get to, you know, I know they're like myths and mythologies, but they can be of an inspiration if you're actually able to look at stories in a way that entertains you and that speaks to you, instead of just as a guide of like, oh, this is what happened, yeah. Anyway, so this is Uranus, and how fitting with the energy I've just been putting in this video. I actually got Uranus in the 7th house, so I love to throw my Uranus at other people to make the energy move forward. But with it, you know, it kind of looks like the symbol of Pisces, you know, these two parentheses with the line in the middle. It kind of looks like Pisces, but the way I draw Pisces is that line in the middle, it goes beyond, you know, so it reaches both polarities and it switches. But to me, what these two things of the mind, because it's what those parentheses mean for me, it's like two parts of the mind being projected in different positions or different ways. So it's a polarity. So it's a polarity or shift between the polarity, or it speaks of a yin and a yang. Not necessarily a yin and a yang, that's a way to bring it down into a concept, but you know, a polar opposite. And in the middle, you got the cross of matter. So it's matter being pulled in opposite directions. And it's like the sphere of experience under it is what matter brings the sphere of experience up to it, and then it is projected in a certain polarity. So it's like through Uranus, you could see how the Aquarian sign, which is co-ruled by Uranus and ruled by Saturn, you could see how they kind of like bring this polar shift to the structure, so the matter of things, from their own sense of experience. So that's what Uranus is to me. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's one way I got a picture in it, and I think it englobes it in a okay way. Okay, so Neptune. So I know not everybody likes to actually put the little, you know, the little arrow thingy on the trident of Neptune, because yes, it's reminiscent of like the actual trident of Neptune. But the way I could bring it is that you got here again the crescent of the mind, if you want, or like the parenthesis of the mind. You got the cross of matter, but matter is going through the mind and it's projecting its own energy. So it's like maybe that's why Pisces are able to kind of like dissolve the boundaries of matter with their own sense of belief, with their own mind. And then when it has crossed the parenthesis, or when it has crossed the mind, the energy is then projected in different ways. So it isn't really tangible in a way that like is to be focused in a certain way. You know, it's projected from 3 different positions at the same time. So to me, it speaks of an energy that's able to confuse or to mix mind and matter and to then project it. So that's the Pisces power for you. That's how I analyze it. Now this one I really like. I know some people they use for Pluto a P with like the line under it, kind of, but to me that's kind of like a boring one. I'm sure you could find some meanings for it. I don't know if it's just a P for Pluto and they added a line because they didn't want it to be only a P, you know, so that it could be recognizable. But anyways, and then nothing happens for nothing anyway. So the way I see it, the sphere of experience, right? You got the thing of the mind connected to matter. So it's like the sphere of experience of Pluto is above the mind connected to matter. It isn't perceivable from matter or from the mind, but it's still part of the experience of Pluto, you know? So it's this, I like to say that it's creeping in the background, like Pluto is creeping in the background, like it's this lingering force. But to me, it's really the sphere of experience with the mind and matter under it, and it really doesn't connect, but at the same time it's an energy that influences all at the same time. It's an experience above what we perceive with our mind and what we can touch and what's tangible. So that's pretty much what I had to say. I mean, again, this is my own intuitive way of seeing it. Of course, perhaps I've like gotten some inspiration from other people, but I haven't done some research about that before the video. I've looked a little bit into like the zodiac symbols because I felt like they were harder to kind of like get to me, like especially why Virgo and Scorpio, the symbols look the same. Anyways, I'll try to make a video on that when I feel I'm really ready, but this was the actual planetary glyphs and their meanings coming from my Pisces and Neptunian mind. So I hope you have a good one.